So what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Albee Racing. So today I'm going to be doing a little work on the turbo Honda Civic. It's a B16A turbo. What I'm going to be doing, when I upgraded the fuel system, I put a fuel pressure regulator on there, and my return line down to the hard line for the fuel system, I put just a hose clamp onto it, and it slid down and it's leaking everywhere when the pressure is going back into the line, and it's pretty high pressure. So I got a baseline at 45 psi. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just tell everybody, don't make that mistake. Don't use just a hose clamp. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put a 6N on one side, and then I'm going to go ahead and on the other side show you how you attach the compression fitting for the hard line. Alright guys, what we got here are my 6Ns, the different fuel fitting adapters that I can go ahead and put on there. Now it is the return line, so it's going to be routed back down out of the system. So if I was going to use one of these fittings, I'm probably going to use the 45 or the straight one. And here's the compression fitting that I'm going to use. The return line of my car, and that is a 1/4 inch hard line. So here's the 1/4 inch hard line part with the 6N male tip. So as I unscrew this, you'll see the compression fitting come out that goes on the hard line. Alright. So there's the brass fitting that goes on the hard line. And then once that piece is in there, slide this on the hard line, slide this over the hard line, which goes inside of there, and then put this piece down on the end, and you're going to screw this on, and then you're going to tighten, and it'll press the brass fitting in and compress it onto the hard line. But I'll show you how we're going to do that right now. I'm going to go ahead and use the straight fitting for mine. First we'll go ahead and put the AND fitting on here. Get this old junk off. Should be able to slide our AND fitting on there pretty nicely. Just still got duct tape wrapped around the hose. So take this fitting off first. This is going to go onto the hose. Hopefully that went on the ground and not on the subframe. And put it on the subframe. Alright, a couple lessons today. Don't unscrew this over the car, because you can lose this piece down in here in the subframe, which I just did. So don't make that mistake. Mistake number one is actually when I used this fitting on the hose. instead of putting a compression fitting on the hard line. That was mistake number one. Mistake number two today was dropping this piece down with the subframe, which luckily I have other pieces, so it's not such a big deal, but I would like to get that one out from down there, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to reach it. But there's the hard line that we're going to be putting the compression fitting on after we put this hand fitting on the hose. So just get this tape down in here. So it's just fitting all the way up in there. Just keep twisting till you can see the hose touch on the top up here. Let's put it there. Just twist and push it down at the same time. See the hose in there, so now we're going to put the other part of the end fitting in. Just go ahead and screw it in. Get the 19. compression, 1/4 inch hardline compression fitting. Mistake number 2 today was unscrewing things by the car. I'm doing it again, but there's the compression fitting inside. Let's put this 6-AN over here. There. Trash over there. There's the compression fitting. What we're going to do is put this piece on first, flared side down onto the fitting. We just got done cutting the hard line with the pipe cutter. Got the little nub off. I'm going to put the compression fitting down onto the part. So this piece will go on first, then the gold compression ring, then we'll screw this part on. This is a little nub that I cut off. So, should be good at putting that ring down in there now. So you just spin it around, tighten, spin it around, tighten, and then it comes off. So let's go get this piece on. Alright, real quick here, I'm going to show everybody how the compression fittings work. So usually you have a male AN fitting. In this case it's a 6-AN male to a 3/8 inch hardline compression fitting. Now when you get these, you might look in the bag and say, where's the compression fitting? Don't worry. Once you get it open, you'll see that the compression fitting is with it. It's usually just inside. to unscrew the hard line. There's your compression fitting. So you have your end that's going to go on the hard line first, and the compression fitting. It'll then go on the hard line, and this will go on top. That hard line will only go, you can see in there, there's a place where that hard line is going to stop. So as a demonstration, I'll get something that would be a 3/8 line. I'll use a 3/8 drill bit. So right here is 3/8. Check. Does say 3/8. So how this would work then? This was your hard line, just like the one I did in the car. This fitting right here is going to come down on top of the hard line first, then your compression fitting. Your compression fitting will go down inside of there. And since this is not going to go past there, that's as far as it's going to go on the line. So what you want to do is then bring everything up to it. Start screwing. Now to be to the point where we need to use pliers, or I mean wrenches. You can use pliers, you can use crescent wrench, adjustable wrench would work. The end wrench does not fit. So for this 3/8 fitting, let's say that's 15 inch. And let's say 17. Not 17. 19. And 19 it is. It'll be a 19 millimeter on each side. You put the wrench on there, torque that down. And once you torque it down, what's going to happen? It's that compression fitting. You can see on there, it's beveled together, so when you screw it, it presses, and just like I said, it compresses, and it fills up the whole space in there. So the only thing that's coming through is where these two are connected to, and then after this, your and line will go on that. So once you have this all screwed together, the next thing will then be your hand fitting will go on there. So what that'll look like, and what I did in the car, in the B16A on the Turbo Civic, the job I just did is this. So I put this end on the hose. And by the way, this is the part that I unscrewed and lost in the car. It fell right down there, right in where the steering knuckle is. I was able to push it out with the grab tool. So your hose is going to go in here. I put my 6-amp hose in here, shoved it in there. Once you got this piece on your hose, what I recommend doing is lubricating this. It'll make it easier once you get to the end and you're turning both of these to, as that goes inside of your hose. You want to make sure your hose doesn't collapse around it. You know, once you're probably to like right there is when it starts getting difficult. You're going to use this Allen wrench. And I usually recommend getting a set of these Allen wrenches with different sizes so you can use it on here, because aluminum on aluminum doesn't mar it up like when you use these regular chrome wrenches. You tend to nick this real bad and it takes the finish off and it doesn't look as nice. So I would recommend getting a set of different size or adjustable Allen wrenches. And then once that's on your hose, this Allen fitting then goes on. And when you screw these Allen fittings down, when you tighten them, you just want to tighten them hand tight. You don't want to over torque these, because you just end up tearing the threads up and you'll actually cause them to leak. They swivel, so that's how that compression fitting does go on there though. So on this next job I'm going to be doing on the B16A on the Turbo Civic hatchback, I'm going to install a second oil catch can, and I'm going to run that to the bottom of the block, because as of right now I have one oil catch can on the top to relieve pressure on the top end. So I'm going to put one down where the PCV valve usually is, and this will take that place. It's already blocked off. I'm just going to open the access hole and I'll pipe this 10 right up to this new oil catch can. I think the 10 is a nice big hose to relieve that pressure that B16A makes. Because when you're at high RPMs up at 7,800 or at 8,300 RPMs, it's creating a lot of pressure. I've already blown out, as of right now, I got a blown front seal and a blown rear main seal, so that's what that pressure causes. That's why you need to relieve that pressure, and I believe in doing it in a couple places, on the top on your valve cover, and then down below as well. Okay, fixing mistake number 2 from last night. Down here is where what was that? It's right there, and I'm going to knock it on the ground. Is. It's fucking aluminum, so I can't use a magnet. And there's the Allen fitting that I unscrewed and dropped in the car. Retrieved with the claw.